Pay attention to see 50-year-old uncle wearing hundreds of pounds of iron clothes every day just to train to become a great god. Experts commented that his training is not scientific, but no matter in any scene in any place, he does not care about other people's different eyes, the iron clothes are never leave his body. In the end, what inspired him to be so obsessed with the iron clothes? Next, let's go into the Kung Fu road of Brother Iron Clothes together. In the video, the older man, who comes from an ordinary family in Zhoumadian, Hunan province, is also a pure Kung Fu enthusiast, but also on the martial arts novels in the lightweight extremely obsessed. Every day after work for high-intensity training, his training equipment are basically self-built. A simple carpet in his room at home becomes his training base. He never listens to the advice of experts and always maintains his own unique training style. Weighted push-ups, weighted splits, swinging a giant double nunchuck weighing 60 pounds, weighted sandbags, etc. No matter what the training, iron clothes and chains never leave their bodies. Thus experienced more than a few dozen years of baptism of wind and rain, wearing an iron coat has long been accustomed to, whether it is to do farm work or go to the market to buy food, whether it is to take the subway or go to the beach to play, weighing several hundred pounds of iron coat in his body as ordinary clothes as unusual. He did not care about the passers-by strange eyes, but also wearing iron clothes from Hunan Zhoumadian to Hangzhou, Zhejiang province, on foot, the whole process up to more than 1,000 kilometers. In addition, he also wore iron clothes to challenge all kinds of difficult projects, such as wearing iron clothes swimming. He was seen sinking quickly the moment he got into the water, and the audience was worried about accidents. However, we have to admit that Iron Clothes Brothers' weight-bearing ability is really great, even wearing iron clothes to climb the mountain seems to be extraordinarily easy. However, there is no lack of netizens to question whether his iron clothes are real, but there are also counterfeiters to fight the fake. Only to see 3 people lifting a piece of iron clothes are quite strenuous, which makes the unconvinced people dumbfounded. What's more, some experts commented that Iron Clothes Brothers' training methods are not scientific, and heavy objects pressed on the body for a long time will lead to gradual damage to the waist and knees, but Iron Clothes Brother simply ignored it, and his body was tied with chains all the time. To support such a large family, Charlie should have had a very large family, right? Actually, it's still his good management, together with the help of his numerous wives. He set up a local elementary school, junior high school and high school, so that he could solve the education problem of his own children and at the same time collect tuition fees from other people's children. Next he had chicken farms, pig farms, vegetable gardens, and the main source of income was a furniture factory which, because it was so well made, encompassed the entire market within a few hundred kilometers of the neighborhood. And this is a complete family business, all the workers in it are Charlie's sons, which just solves the employment problem of those children who do not study well. Those who did well in school or were able to do so either went out to work or could stay on to teach at the school. His son, Kumar, is a graduate student who gave up a well-paying job after graduation and decided to come home to help his father with the school, where his younger brother and nieces and nephews basically sit in the classroom. When asked if he can name his family, Kumar is a little unsure. After all, there are so many people in his family. So with so many children, how exactly do they spend their days? In addition to going to school every day, Charlie, in order to enrich his children's and grandchildren's spare time activities, he led the whole family to build a large soccer field near the school, and every family member contributed to the construction, and the players on the varsity team were basically his own people. These children also often help the family with farm work, such as fetching water to water the vegetables is what they do most often. After all, the whole family's source of vegetables is to grow their own. Rice, on the other hand, is bought from the market, and every time they buy it, they buy a truckload of it. It can be said that the whole family members have their own duties, cooking for those who should cook, raising chickens for those who should raise chickens, and feeding pigs for those who should feed pigs. Everyone is in their own position and does their own job. At the end of a busy day, after supper the family gathered together for a merry dance, and it may be said that they lived a very happy life. Despite having such a large family, Charlie still wants to expand his family, which he says is a lot of work but enjoyable. At the same time, he believes that a harmonious family is sustained by love and discipline, which is the secret of marrying many wives without family conflicts. What do you have to say about this? If it were you, could you manage such a large family? It is the most powerful assassination king in today's wars, and countless battlefield commanders regard it as a nightmare. It is also the US military's most advanced high-end microweapon, capable of intelligently striking targets beyond visual range, which is the Switchblade UAV, a UAV that is actually more similar to a small cruise missile, which is a combination of the capabilities of the UAV and the cruise missile system. The Switchblade UAV is more portable and stealthy than a regular UAV that needs to return to the air, and it doesn't need to return to the air. It also has the precision guidance of a cruise missile, capable of striking targets beyond visual range. This is the same Switchblade UAV that was once so famous, but nowadays it does not perform well on the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield. Why is that? Before answering these two questions, let's take a closer look at the Switchblade UAV, which comes in two models, the 300 series and the 600 series. A set of Switchblade 600 is priced at about $20,000, and it consists of three parts: the launch tube, the drone, and the control computer. Among them, the drone is 1.3 meters long, weighs 22.7 kilograms, has a lag time of 40 minutes, a maximum range of 80 kilometers, and a maximum speed of 185 kilometers per hour. It is equipped with high-performance photoelectric infrared sensors and anti-armor warheads, capable of precision strikes on over-the-horizon targets, especially light armor targets. Judging from the indicators, the Switchblade 600 is undoubtedly a very good suicide weapon, but the performance on the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield is far from being sorry for its own price. And why is that? First of all, Ukraine obtained a total of about 100 sets of Switchblade UAV. The number is very limited. It is difficult to create a bright performance. Secondly, the lack of other equipment, intelligence and communication support rely on the Switchblade UAV to find the target. Then 40 minutes of airtime and a few kilometers of communication distance is too short to play its potential of over-the-horizon combat. Finally, the Switchblade UAV is not capable of dealing with high-value Russian main battle tanks, and if it is used to deal with ordinary armored vehicles or infantry, only the US military, which spends nearly $900 billion a year on military spending, may be able to afford it. To summarize, the Switchblade UAV is certainly good, but it's just too expensive and too system-dependent. What do you think? How exquisite can Chinese crafts be? This soft and cute kitten is not a photo, but a needle and thread embroidery. Don't say you don't believe it. I didn't believe it either when I first saw it, because not only is each hair so fine that it can be seen in the slightest detail, the nose can be felt through the screen, and you can even see the reflection of the scenery outside the window through the cat's eyes. This marvelous skill is one of the four great shows of China, Su Embroidery. The author of this kitten is known as the Queen of Su Embroidery of the non-hereditary Yao Jianping. Her works have been presented as state gifts to dignitaries on many occasions, spreading and promoting Chinese culture to the world. Suzhou embroidery originated in Suzhou and has a history of more than 2,000 years. During the Ming Dynasty, every family in Jiangnan raised silkworms and embroidered, and at that time, the woman school of painting represented by Tang Bohu was popular. Embroiderers then combined with painting to show the flavor of pen and ink through needle and thread. In the Qing dynasty, the development of Suzhou embroidery was even more prosperous, and the beauty of Suzhou embroidery was mentioned many times in Dream of Red Mansions. Mr. Yao, on the other hand, has integrated oil painting, photography and other light and shadow techniques on the basis of Suzhou embroidery's neatness and delicacy to create more realistic embroidery works. How does the ultra-high-definition embroidery, which is comparable to that of a photograph, come about? In order to create the effect of fluffy cat hair, a piece of silk is first divided into 1/64 of a millimeter. Then, like a hair transplant, the silk is stacked layer by layer, sparsely and densely. Thick places have more than 10 layers, the lightest and most ethereal place is only 1 or 2 layers, coupled with the deft needlework to embroider a realistic effect. The light in the cat's eyes, on the other hand, is made up of white silk threads, embroidered with delicate stitches to create an extremely smooth silk texture, which, when contrasted against the black pupils and eye sockets, gives the effect of reflections as if they were real eyes. It took more than 6 months to complete this piece of bright eyes, and every stitch brings together Ms. Yao's more than 40 years of strength. Netizens have commented that this is the real cultural luxury. The theory of the electromagnetic cannon alone does not work, we must put it into practice. The coil that we tested earlier does have the magnetic properties of a permanent magnet when it is energized, then we mounted the coil on an aluminum slide and chose a metal that can be magnetically attracted to act as a magnetic spade on the rail. A Hall magnetic sensor is placed behind the coil in order to detect the position of the magnetic spade's movement, and it sends a signal to this control panel, which controls the triode on the other side. In order to accelerate the heat dissipation of the triode, it is covered with aluminum sheets. The kinetic energy for starting comes from this set of supercapacitors, which you can also think of as a super battery. Although it uses an electric field to store charge, it can release a large amount of current in an instant, something a battery can't do. Activate the switch to energize the 2 sets of coils, and the metal sled inside the rails instantly moves forward and flies out, but of course the real-life electromagnet can go faster than that. We can increase the distance between the electromagnet and the iron block, and then increase the number of coils in the middle of the rail along the line, so that the iron block is always pulled forward by the nearby magnetic field. Each coil that passes by will give him a gradual acceleration, and this set of coils will be a bit of an electromagnetic cannon tube. Between each set of coils with a magnetic sensor with a super switching transistor, turn on the power supply to the coil with current, the speed is too fast to see. We put a salami in front of the magnetic sled to slow it down, but the effect is not obvious. We slow-mo look again. It is said that now the aircraft carrier auxiliary aircraft catapult takeoff device is also used in this set of electromagnetic power. The real aircraft we do not have, but with the help of model gliders to restore the whole process. Snap it to a moving iron block and accelerate it. Can it fly like the catapult takeoff on an aircraft carrier? The reality of the electromagnetic gun in the design of the design will certainly be much more complex than this, because it takes into account a lot of factors, such as the accuracy of the shell and the material conductivity, corrosion resistance of the slide, etc., but the theoretical basis of the principle should be the same.